PP is here, and I got some thoughts about it. And whether you agree with me or not, I found the update a little underwhelming. So let's go in detail and explain everything and debate about the PP update. So PP is a new game mode in TDX, which is a player versus player version of a regular TDX match. PP mode doesn't have a special difficulty that it takes place in, but rather has its own unique mode with different enemies and such. The mode itself overall doesn't offer much difficulty and slowly moves from boss to boss in a linear difficulty styled wave structure, such as the endless mode, but the twist comes from there being another opponent against you and them having the ability to sabotage your towers with power-ups and having enemies to send you. The power-ups I'll get to in a bit, but for enemies that they send your path, enemies function with an economy system. The set economy section either increases or decreases your economy stat by their values. By your economy stat, every 7 seconds you gain a set amount of money that you can either increase or decrease with sending enemies. Enemies have their own economic values tied to them, and with each enemy sent, your economy value changes depending on what the said sent enemy brings. For example, let's take an enemy, Fallout, as an example. By paying 575 cash, you can send a Fallout to your enemy's side, and the Fallout enemy will increase your economy by 34. Now you may say, I make $34 per Fallout by spending 575 on them. How is this profitable? Now, my dear TDX enjoyer, hold on to your seat, cause the economy mechanic is permanent. So although you paid 575 to earn 34, that's at $34 will bring you $34 each 7 seconds. So by spending a bit of time, you make the money back and start generating profit. It's like an investment in real life, where you spend money to gain more money later. Now, as I said, there are enemies that increase your economy. So although actively hurting your opponent by sending them enemies, you also increase your economy, so it's a win-win situation for you. But there are also enemies that decrease your economy. Those said enemies are enemies that either are really dangerous or do something by having a special gimmick. For example, if you send an opponent TDX02, your economy will decrease by 275. Now you may have a question of, if my economy is actively decreasing, why would I send my opponent a said enemy? That is one specific reason. Although the enemies that increase your economy, the ones that decrease your economy hurt your opponent more. At first, your economy units may make your opponent struggle, but after a while, they turn into walking walls of nothing. So they die really fast, and besides increasing your eco, they don't hurt your opponent that much. But by sending an enemy that decreases your economy, you can send enemies that have special gimmicks such as shooting your opponent's towers and killing them, thus making them an actual threat instead of just walking nothings. So with that, you fellow TDX enjoyer know how PP functions. The shop system they added with PP allows you to buy enemies and power-ups to use in your match. You have a select few free enemies that the game gives you, but to send out some other enemies you need to spend some money to buy the enemies. The enemies you can buy reach from Fodder, which are either there for eco or just pointless, Rusher, which are either fast eco or pointless, Support, which helps your sent enemy troops by supporting them or sabotages your opponent via different ways, Economy, for enemies that can improve your economy, Offensive, which are enemies that can deal damage to your opponent's towers, and Bosses, which are glorified offensive enemies. You have a total of 12 spots in your enemy's inventory, and you can equip the set enemy that you want to send in the match. The grind to get these enemies aren't difficult, cause like I bought the entire shop and 200 power-ups, which costed me around 150k coins. So buying a few necessary enemies should only cost you a few $10,000. Now for power-ups. We have 6 special power-ups that are only usable in PvP, and the said power-ups are Airstrike, to deal damage to your enemy's towers, Enemy Shield Regen, to give your sent enemies shields, Enemy Speed Boost, to speed up your sent enemies, Friendly Damage Buff, to support your own towers, Range Boost, to boost your tower's range, and Uber Field, to make your said towers invincible. All power-ups have temporary effects, which last from about 10 seconds to about 30 seconds depending on the power-up. Buying a power-up besides Airstrike costs $200 and Airstrike costs $400. Each power-up is sold in groups of 5, and I would say they are pretty cheap to buy. You can equip 2 power-ups at once, and to do a review of sorts. Friendly Damage Buff is really good, Airstrike is okay but falls off really bad in late game, Range Boost is really mid, Uber Field is really good against big damage bosses, Enemy Shield Regen is okay but not that OP, and Enemy Speed Boost is okay but not amazing. So the 2 power-ups I would recommend are Friendly Damage Buff and Uber Field, which both can save lives. There are also tower bands, which you do not do in game but are already pre-banned in the inventory. The banned towers are MLRS, Bubble Blower, Chicken House, Cryo Helicopter, Cryo Ranger, Icebreaker, Relic, Scarecrow, Shock Trooper, Zed, Combat Medic, Oil Derrick, Combat Drone, Cryo Mortar, Flame Trooper, Golden Mine Layer, Golden Mobster, and Goo Gunner. Now you fellow TDX enjoyer might say, fuck is left, they banned everything. And you will be right. What the fuck are these bans? Like the bannings of eco towers perhaps make sense since they're already existing an eco mechanic, but like the others are just banned for no reason. Like let's go over them one by one. MLRS, a good splash tower. Why banned? Bubble Blower, which is valid and is broken, but like it's just OP, not actually broken. Chicken House, which is pointless and useless, so why need to ban? All cryo towers besides Cryo Blaster for some reason. In the big balance update, they killed each freeze towers freezing besides Cryo Blaster, and now they are banning all cryo towers besides Cryo Blaster. Relic, which I would say is OP, but not game breaking or actually broken. Scarecrow for some reason. Shock Trooper, which is actually an underpowered tower, so why? Zed, for also no reason. Combat Medic, which could have offered some needed diversity to healing, but banned. Oil Derrick, which is reasonable since it's an eco tower. Combat Drone for no reason. Flame Trooper for no reason. Golden Mine Layer for no reason. Golden Mobster since it's an eco tower, and Goo Gunner also for no reason. If you noticed, all banned towers are either banned for no reason or have some relation to buffing, nerfing, or stalling towers and enemies, which I don't understand the reasoning for. Like besides the banning of economy towers, which mind you could also work with PvP, it just needs some adjustments. Each singular stalling tower, like why are they banned? Stalling is just another layer in the trenches of TDX, so why simplify the game by removing a core mechanic from it? In my opinion, they didn't take any risks for towers that were unbalanced. Instead of properly balancing them, they just banned them from PvP. Now I also want to talk about the rewards from winning a match, which I find really low. And although getting an increase to their value just today, I still think the rewards are fairly low. So as John said, the gold rewards have been buffed, with Wave 30 giving you around 3000 gold on easy maps, Wave 45 giving you around 5000 gold, and Wave 61 giving you 20,000 gold, which now it may seem like it's a high number, but the rewards are really not. With 2 times speed being disabled in PvP mode, reaching Wave 30 takes a lot of time. Before Wave 20, winning is just a waste of time, with me earning 142 gold on Wave 15 victory. At Wave 30, the time the game lasts for is around 25 minutes, and 3000 gold seems fine for that time frame. But for Wave 45 and 61, the rewards are lackluster. Getting from Wave 30 to 45 takes a significant time, and the thing is, it's not really about how long it takes, it's about if your opponent is going to make it or not. Most matches of PvP do not last longer than Wave 30. People just die. So although Wave 61 rewarding 20,000 gold, that is practically never gonna happen to you. You need to have a perfect match where both sides play perfectly to reach Wave 61, which I assume lasts you about an hour to an hour 30 minutes, which for that time there are better ways to grind for gold. So yeah, overall the rewards of the mode aren't good enough to actually mean something. Another, and I would say my biggest point that I want to mention, is how there are no big goal to reach or content to seek out while playing the PvP mode. It's not really the fault of the mode itself, but it's the fault of the PvP update, where PvP doesn't reward anything to actually be valid to play. In tower battles, there were golden towers, which were the reason people played PvP, while also gaining a good chunk of money. But in TDX, I assumed there would be new towers, new skins, and overall new content that would have been PvP exclusive, so there would be an incentive to play the game. But no, there's just nothing to go for. Yeah, overall PvP is still a fun mode to play, but we didn't receive anything really. There's just more money to spend with buying necessary PvP enemies and power-ups, but no ultimate reward for you to keep playing PvP. Also, another thing that I want to mention is how much of a big dog pile the UI and the inventory system is in TDX. Like, people have been complaining about this for a long while now, but the UI looks like it has been put together in 2 seconds by a random $5 worker online. We have 2 big ass play buttons on top of the gold and crystal counters. At the side, we have a random PvP shop button that looks nothing like the rest of the UI of the game, and the main inventory isn't split for PvP and non-PvP sections. Even if you play PvP or not, there is a big PvP text on half of the towers. The towers are also randomly placed in the inventory. Like, what the fuck, bro? Even in the PvP mode itself, the UI to send enemies isn't good. It looks out of place for TDX and overall bad. Plus, with how the economy mechanic is set in TDX, why do you have to manually switch from towers to enemies, spam the said economy enemy, then return to normal tab? Couldn't you make it like how tower battles did with placing the enemy UI, like, I don't know, anywhere else besides the tower UI we have? On top of that, the economy towers having the need to be spammed. Why not add an option to automatically send enemies? Like, besides spamming the send enemy button 8 times every 50 seconds, why not add an option to send, for example, 100 enemies, rather than just clicking it constantly? So overall, I think although PvP mode being decent, the PvP update is really lackluster. In my opinion, the mod feels like a prototype for the PvP update, but as how the prototypes are, it doesn't seem finished. The core premise of the mode is really damn fun to play, but the rewards aren't good enough. There are also no ulterior motive to play the mode, such as towers or skins. The UI looks poorly designed, and overall it has a general look of being unfinished. Though that doesn't mean that TDX failed to do the PvP mode. The mod shows so much potential, and with properly adding the missing pieces, the mod could actually be the best thing in TDX. The mod is like the potential GIF. But for getting to that potential, we need to fix the fucking UI. Add better keybinds and mechanics on sending enemies, rather than spam clicking them. Add some PvP exclusive stuff to spice up the mode. Adjust the gold rewards, and separate PvP inventory loadout from the regular loadout. And although these may seem like a lot of work, all of these could be added with a singular update. So although having a lot of things to add, most of these said things should be pretty simple to implement. So yeah, with that we approach the end of the video. But before you go, look at this shit, bro. Normally YouTubers show their viewer to subscriber ratio, but like, what the fuck is this? What is 99% unsubscribed to 1% subscribers? Smash that button, y'all. I spend a lot of time and effort into making these videos, so support the hell out here. Shit doesn't cost you a dime to do anything. So again, thanks for watching all the way to here, and as always, I was your host HD, and thanks for watching.